footage let them know. So you got footage, you hear what they're saying, because no man know what they're saying, so you can hear what they're saying. You got witnesses, you got cops there. Well, cop, they still need you, Roger, to say, he was with him. And then here comes Wingstop Ricky, you know, the D-Rider algorithm guy. You know, he tried to jump on trending topics. He feel like he want to attach his brand, his name to the situation because he feel like since he stuck his and old boy, old lady, he feel like he can chime in on this.
I want to see them hustles from the South Wind. I want to see it. There was a time I got Gotti and Guwap on the phone together. Us three on the phone, nigga. And it ain't nothing to discuss. It was no disrespect. It was no raised voices. Rose just wanted to plant that seed. And I understand one phone call may not fix all the situations, but you want to plant that seed where niggas may be able to move forward one day, get some paper one day. The CMG 1017 tour one day, that was Rose mindset. And I wish nothing but my homies the best. When it comes to business, let's negotiate. Niggas can't take the streets to the niggas gonna get a life sentence today. Let's get to the beat.
That's hard. Everything gonna be everything, but I just try to come on the phone to get in the right direction. Come on, man. This nigga on the phone talking. And all y'all business with the same girl, same girl. Put she lied to the face. You know that was passing around her. Same girl, same girl. Put she lied to the face. You know I was passing around her. Same girl, same girl. You gonna fuck with that?
Jump on button. Trash, Denny. Don't you about to get popped, Denny? Get the fuck out of here. Beat him up. Damn.
It's the truth, though. I know it's the truth. I ain't not about like to say
right.
And I'm telling the truth. Because he told me
these niggas can't fuck with me. I'm out here on VD time and know what the fuck is going down when you see me. I'm pop nigga, my motherfucker Eliante. You know what the fuck is going on when you see me. I'm going down, baby. I'm gonna let that nigga get that weekend.
Get it right the first time. Sponsor your job on Indeed to get matched with quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/hire now.
My nigga Mark Williams back. Let's get into
One restaurant in a year is hard enough, but
what you doing? What you doing? Trash. That ain't it. That ain't it. Boo ass nigga. Oh, that nigga, that boo ass nigga.
It was fast, affordable, and honestly.
That ain't it, nigga.
Well,
how about the Fonte Ante?
They can ask a lot of, whether it's guarding the opponent's best player or
I can't stand that, but of course, our own eyes and we're over. So damn well, you know, Gotti and people going up for it. That's all. So I don't know if we had that conversation with them, if I was still alive or after he passed. Either way, it wasn't going down like that.
And God was cool between two times. My problem with them was,
right. Yeah. Red rough for that.
When I constantly my pocket,
where's your energy,
now the whole world don't talk to you to take off the remote, so it just made me lose all respect for him.
You can't even do that. If you really choose, you make the family like that, so
I think about Williams back, right?
Basically, we're going to be working on top. Nah, even though ain't no blood and shit between the two camps. But, nah, it wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be real. The internet ain't gonna let you live. So you said did that to your little kid.
No coffee land like you can. I mean, that would be like cool.
Now the thing is good.
I was wondering.
Oh, okay.
Diallo.
But that was your
Yeah, shit, I was done that.
But that was your girlfriend, though, right? We shouldn't have been I know that was right.
And timeout called by Jordan Hawks. Coach needs a moment to talk things over.
Right. The truth is, y'all think this. I don't know. I look at the chick. She don't look like the white one.
Why not? But you didn't say, you said check with him though. Like, hey, you know, I know you
Yeah, Gucci was.
And the Suns here with a different look.
You cooperate with law enforcement
And first quarter, we're about
and get
3.5
any
minutes in.
information on any name other than yours. And yes, you are a rat.
Here's Gillespie.
These are the rules of the streets.
Here's Gillespie. Just 5 to shoot.
For the last 5-10 years.
Phoenix needs to get off a shot. O'Neal wide open. And the Suns
Everywhere I see Gucci,
Al Grant.
he wasn't the streets.
Nice D from Brooks.
A yacht. An exclusive birthday party.
Inside.
A weekend trip to Vegas where he's locked out this week.
Back to Brooks.
Enjoying his friends. So if something go down, and you report it,
It's
and
not
you
going to
become a
go.
rat, some people go wrong with that right there. I don't think he's wrong for him to get trouble. That man thinks something, he got a right to keys and family and all that else. You can't really tell. You got something you about
It
street code.
enables his team to capitalize on the possession.
And don't respect people get in the street. Do shit.
Here's Grant.
And
And the layup is good.
I don't respect
A
it.
little
No. I
aggressive.
feel like you
Pays
did
off
it.
for Grant
You need to
inside.
stand on it.
And
In
as a
any
coach,
situation,
you
let me
love
take
to
some
see
more
that.
time for police officers.
Good look from O'Neal.
Right now.
And the baseline
You
jumper, no
have
good.
the same security guard for a while. The security guard wasn't doing it.
At the end of one, a closely contested game so far.
Security guard went
Suns
crazy.
lead by 1. From Portland, we're back in a moment.
Now, once you would get on a drill or a little good move or something dealing with violence or gangs
And it's
like
been a
that,
pretty even game
put him
here after one
outside,
quarter
put
of
him
play.
CEO, put him back in the
And some stats here,
position
guys.
that
A
was in the
scoring
street,
breakdown
doing them
for
type of
the Suns.
activities, then, or
The way
cleaning
they've
some
been
money up, or,
attacking inside is
yeah.
phenomenal.
So you're gonna have some
Consistently
people
getting high
be like,
percentage
nah,
looks, and
you
that's
get
what
rid of
great
me.
offenses are
You
all
ain't
about.
gotta,
On the wing,
but
Brooks.
then you got the street side where
Outside,
they can
O'Neal.
always bring up all the clips
And
from
the
before he
three-off
went to
target.
jail, when he came home, go back,
And so it's Abdia
to the
with it.
smoky,
He
so it
brings it
ain't
up
no
for the
excuse for them
Trailblazers.
out, figure them
They
out.
trail by
Brandon
1.
Cole,
Jablonski Auto
Body, LLC.
O'Neal outside.
Oasis Races Scan and Spa.
The right money moves aren't as absurd
Pass
as
to
you think.
Brooks. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. Any
These modern days who
Were you
doesn't just
recently injured in a
shoot
car
Brooks is
accident?
a tough guy to cover.
Phoenix shooting their first shots from the stripe in this game. And that one falls for Brooks.
And there's a flexibility to Brooks's game. He can play a specific role for you, or he can be a high usage guy. Really depends on what a team needs from night to night.
So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2. Pass to
Championship
Quinn.
game of the day for
Quinn with the
Easter
jam.
Sunday.
doesn't
beginning
get
with the
any
left
easier
side.
than this.
It's
Klingon
Dallas
wants to slam
Mavericks.
that one down
The Lakers'
whenever he gets a
51st
chance.
win of the season against Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks in 51. Goes
He
to
has the
Devon Banks,
timing
the
and
first
rhythm
game
of a
without
metronome.
Luka. LeBron, Moshe, during the Lakers
The shot
to
by Holiday,
victory
no
on
good.
Easter Sunday.
The
Their
Suns leading.
25th win away against the Mavs. The
Booker
Mavs
looking
in
around.
Rockets 25.
Fires from the line, and he hits the jump shot.
Rockets and
Booker's got
Timberwolves
his
locked
second
up
basket
in the
of the game.
battle of the number 6 and number 5
I love how
seed.
Booker's
The
eyes light
Rockets
up
lose
when
their
he gets a
30th game
mid-range
against
opportunity.
number 30 Stephen Curry. They
And
are
this is
going
good.
for their
It's
49th
those
win
kind of
against
passes
the Warriors.
that bring
But
up
this
the
is a
entire
game in
team's
which
confidence.
Stephen Curry is going to come
And
back and
timeout
win
called by
on
Jordan
his
Ott.
return
He's
game.
going to take a minute here to
set
get
up
things
the
straightened
drive
out.
up of the Timberwolves and the Rockets. They play each other on Friday. So NBA would rather have the Warriors win on Sunday, especially since the fact that the Warriors already beat the Rockets without Stephen Curry. So the Warriors gonna win at home to beat the Houston Rockets. This is just more so about getting momentum before the play-in. And I think they should remain at 41 losses, by the way, before taking on LA and the Kings. So I think that's what we have to look forward to on Sunday. Let's see if there's any other games. I think the Phoenix Suns should be able to beat the Chicago Bulls. I think
2 minutes now played in the
looking
second
at
quarter.
this, I think we'll enter the game against the Rockets with 43 wins.
That is his first foul of the game.
The Rockets is 43.
Pass to
So
Booker.
if they don't enter with 43, it's tougher a loss to beat the Rockets. We'll get the Tuesday fight.
To the inside.
Haven't
Here's
quite
Brooks.
been
Pocket two.
Dylan Brooks
And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation.
wanted to Dylan Brooks' injury to beat the Bulls. So I like the Lupa, Phoenix
Portland
Suns
trailing
to
here.
get the win at home.
And the wide open shot from Avdia. And he's good on the three ball.
Any other big games on
Got
Sunday?
5. Well, that's a shot you
One
don't
of the
mind me
games
taking.
that I have with
It's a good
Jason,
look
Foreman
and
against
trusts
the
his shot
Timberwolves.
to knock down the three. Booker draws the double.
Fournette's doing pretty
Williams
good,
with
I
the
think.
ball. Klingon defending.
They're doing
Shot
bad.
clock at 3.
I tell you what, I think
And they'll turn
that
over.
battle
They're not
for
getting off
number
the shot.
7, number 8,
24-second
ball
violation.
before, I think NBA would like to Fournette to win, just looking at it.
And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
For the NBA, I think the Hornets are probably
Here's Avdia.
going to win that game.
No good on the triple.
So yeah, this
Here's
game
Green.
doesn't mean nothing. Magic probably throws in.
And so it's Avdia
That's
with the
about
ball.
it
He
for
brings
Sunday.
it
Those
up.
are really the major games to
And
look
it's in
forward
there.
to on Easter.
And it's a 3-point
You call
trailblazer
Sarah
lead.
Strong might already be a top 15 player in the world and one of the greatest college basketball players of all time.
Here's
That
Green.
doesn't sound like a special sum,
And
but
it's
there's
Green with the
genuinely
jam.
nothing she can't do at superstar level
Once he gets
if she's
going,
only a
Green is a
sophomore.
load to stop. Long, athletic, with a terrific handle.
Avdia
Strong
gets the
is the
bucket.
most efficient scorer in the country,
give him an
the
inch of
best
space,
all-around defender,
he's gonna make
a
you
great
pay.
rebounder, and a top 5 passer regardless of position.
kick out to
And the numbers
Williams.
behind it are hard to believe. Over the last 50 years across major college
Booker
basketball,
outside.
the NBA or the WNBA, only 4 players have averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds,
Booker
4
going to
assists,
work
and 3
inside.
steals, on 50%
Well, you want to
shooting.
shoot a high
Cheryl Smith
percentage
at
from the
Texas Tech,
floor?
Year
That's
2
where
Matthew
you go
Johnson
with
for
the
the
ball.
Lakers, Ron Harper at Miami
to
Ohio,
Murray.
and Sarah Strong who is doing it right
Offline
now
with his
in
three.
only 26 minutes per game. It's
And
been
the
more
foul
than 30
call.
years since we've seen this kind of production and efficiency at any level. And now, don't get me wrong, Strong is a real athlete. She can score whenever she wants, and that's a big reason why she's been this good. But it's not like she's the most explosive player on the floor at all times.
On to Monty Kamara. That'll be his second foul of the game. The Suns trailing. Here's Booker. Fantastic finish by Booker.
And
Is The Rock going to save one of the worst WWE mystery reveals ever? That's all I can come up with. There has to be some logical explanation as to why. On this week's edition of WWE SmackDown, Randy Orton needed the backup of Pat McAfee heading into his crucial WrestleMania 42 match, the undefeated WWE title against Cody Rhodes. There has to be something else. Save us, Final Boss. Someone, please explain why Pat McAfee. Throw a mystery caller. Make it make sense. To be honest with you, The Rock is the only person that would make this somehow salvageable. But other than that, it was a complete mess. Because let's just start with what actually happened. All right? Let's start with the actual events themselves that got us to this point. I'm going to look at my notes here from SmackDown. Because I want to make sure we get all of this. All right? To try to somehow piece this together as to why Pat McAfee was the choice here for Randy Orton. Okay. So McAfee kicks Cody right in the balls. He says that basically the business was shit and that Orton told him that the business was gone in a direction that no one liked. So Pat McAfee says that Orton somehow, the Attitude Era gets brought into this. I don't know where the hell that when it comes to what we have to do with this right here. But, basically those fans were forgotten about. McAfee turns on the WWE television every week and he sees two 5'5" guys do 45-minute Iron Man matches. I don't even know who he's talking about. Like, who are the two 5'5" guys doing Iron Man matches every single week? What is he watching? Does Pat McAfee know how to work a streaming system? Does he know how to work a television?
Good ball movement here by the Suns.
Is he watching the wrong thing?
With the bucket.
He doesn't take a lot of time.
He says he turns on Raw on Netflix and watches everyone in Gorilla circle jerk themselves, yet Randy Orton is around.
And Kevin, even though they're down,
he also says that SmackDown is coming off the worst rated episode ever. Boy, that was kind of ironic when you think about how this could play out with this week's episode. And WrestleMania tickets should not still be available when Randy Orton is on the card. So then Orton attacked Cody. McAfee says he has been the person telling Orton to destroy everything and save the business. That sounds familiar. Think about last year. John Cena trying to ruin the business. And now, Randy Orton and Pat McAfee are going to save the business from Cody Rhodes. Orton whispers something into Cody's ear. And off they go, into the truck, into the night. Pat McAfee's tweeting about how if Orton loses, he'll never appear on WWE television again, and all this kind of stuff. Alright, so that's part one. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Alright, part two, we get to Cody Rhodes, who comes back later on. Don't worry, we'll get to the Rock thing in a second. I know people are like, wait a minute, you mentioned the Rock. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. But it's all we got. It's all we got to work with. So, Cody hits his finisher on Kid Wilson at the crossroads. The exact good toxic. Cody Rhodes is. Maybe Kid Wilson joins this group. He's toxic. Like, Cody's clearly toxic. Cody says that McAfee being the reveal is like if Scott Hall and Kevin Nash chose Disco Inferno instead of Hulk Hogan to form the NWO.
You need an LLC. It's protecting you. It's keeping your business and your personal life separate. So go to Telegram, enter your LLC state, choose your business name, answer a few questions, and that's it. Now your business has tax flexibility and personal asset protection. Plus, it's approved by the state and it's a QR business. Handles everything from forming an LLC, your EIN, opening a business bank account, taxes, bookkeeping, license, permit, and more. Taylor is an all-in-one platform for the business owner. So search for Telegram and start your business journey today.
Assisted buckets. Every team wants them. They show you're running effective team offense.
When I started my record label, the business side of things, taxes, finances, definitely felt like adulting. But just because you start your own thing doesn't mean you have to figure it out on your own. It's been amazing to have a TurboTax expert to bounce ideas off. Even if I'm in the studio alone at night, I have access to a TurboTax expert. I handle the music, they handle the tax questions.
File your taxes with confidence with TurboTax experts.
It's good again and an excellent 7 for 8 shooting night so far. Well, when you move the ball, you open up the defense. Great job to make the unselfish play.
Cody then is a grab at the people who represent that Nba, which we'll tie that in a second.
14 points.
And then he says, basically, what are they going to do? Fire him because look how well that worked out last time around. And Cody brings up setting records in WrestleMania, you know, giving his matches WrestleMania 40 and 39 and 41, all these different ones. And then Cody says he's finally hearing the voices in his head, but people don't want to hear what he has to say. Okay, so that ties in everything that actually happened on SmackDown. And I know you're thinking, I already knew that. Well, yeah, but when you hear it out loud again, I think it's very important because more questions than answers we have when it comes to this particular situation. And of all the people that we listed off as possibilities for who this could be, I mentioned in the video the other day, I said the top options for most people right now are probably someone in the McMahon family, which again, Stephanie didn't think sense. It wasn't going to be Vince. I don't care if it was not going to be Vince McMahon. Triple H would not have made any sense, so just for reasons. Then we went on and kept going down the line. Cowboy Bob would have made sense. St. Louis, right? But then it became too obvious when they're showing the pictures and all this other stuff. They're just throwing the opposite. Right? Kevin Owens, I thought, was a choice that made a lot of sense. Based on the connection there, you could tie it in the personal nature. Kevin was right. All that kind of stuff. Would have loved it. Thought it would have been great. Ric Flair, why not? Royal family, you got Queen Charlotte. I think she'd have been in this thing. Ric Flair, his family tie-in, he's mentor, all this stuff. Dusty, like, there's all kinds of stuff to work with. Yeah, even 2020. Trying to work with. My God, I've taken Ric Flair 10 times over Pat McAfee. Other people, you know, eventually, could it be The Rock? Could it be anybody else? Right? These were all banter about. Saw some people mentioning Arn Anderson. I don't know if that would have been the best choice. Not that I have anything against Arn, but I just don't know how that would have necessarily tied with the story of Brady. But it could have worked. Okay, which leads me back to this. Why Pat McAfee? To me, there's no acceptable answer from a WWE creative storytelling standpoint on the road to WrestleMania between what is one of the easiest lives you could ever have in terms of a story between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. With all the history involved with these things, you don't need anyone else to tell this story. You just need Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. But now that they have added in Pat McAfee, let's not forget they've added in Jelly Roll over the past little bit too. Do I think they're headed towards a tag team match with Randy Orton and Pat McAfee against Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll at some point? Absolutely. Welcome to 2026 WWE. Gotta happen, right? But I said it earlier. There is only one way that I think this is anything that can turn into something meaningful, something that actually exceeds expectations and not disappoint. I got nothing against Pat McAfee. Inserting him into the story is absurd unless you are doing this to tell a bigger story. Unless there is a grander reveal down the line, which, oh, by the way, you don't do yourself any favors because everyone is not really having it with this reveal. So you're not really making them want another reveal because you just disappointed them. So it's kind of backwards. So it does all tie back to The Rock. And, like, I'm half joking because I'm like, we gotta have something to work with, right? We gotta have something that could be optimistic to look at this and say, give me a bigger story that is more entertaining and more more understandable than what we have in front of us right now after this edition of SmackDown. Because what we have in front of us right now, I mean, it's just, I don't know how we got here. But, The Rock, okay, let's just quickly tie this in. Could this be a scenario where The Rock is the person speaking through Pat McAfee and he wants to save the business, right? The Rock's got his issues with Cody Rhodes, we know that, they're long running, all this other stuff. I don't need to bring up the history, you know that.
Thank you, Alan.
So, could we have a scenario where somehow The Rock has basically sent Pat McAfee, he's directing Randy Orton, and again, you've got to tie in with the TKO board. I mentioned a minute ago, Cody kind of made the shot about he knows who represents Pat McAfee. Well, here's who represents Pat McAfee. It's Ari Vane, who is the guy at TKO, right? Can pull all the strings. There was a ton of tweet I saw that came from WrestleOff, who Pat McAfee tagged along with quite a few other people on the wrestling media. And this was a tweet from like a month and a half ago. There was an article, I think, from business.com or whatever. But it was all about this idea that Ari Emanuel was wanting to make Pat McAfee the next Sylvester Stallone. So I want him to be the next it guy, right? Maybe in Hollywood or wherever else. Well, apparently, Ari's like, the path to get there is to put this man in a WrestleMania main event and have him play a big role.
I freedom the first responsibility. We've got a few applications already. Now, back to my real job.
Sponsor your job on Indeed and get matched with quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/hire now.
Here's Green. Allen outside.
Did you know that you can set up your LLC faster than you can finish your morning cup of coffee? Let me show you how. Zen Business makes starting your business fast and easy. For $0 plus state fees, you can form your LLC in minutes. With one-day processing and award-winning support 7 days a week, Zen Business makes it so simple to start your dream business. And done. If you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start your business, this is it. Tap below to get started with Zen Business today.
Because that really worked out well last year in the old Travis Scott thing. So, Pat McAfee is in here probably for that reason. Maybe it wasn't Triple H's fault, I don't know. But if they want to find any way to make this work in the long term, again, I'm sorry for not clickbait or whatever, but The Rock is the only person that you could throw into this thing now to have it actually make some sort of sense in a way that I think will please.
He just kept his focus. Now Grant, all sorts of time. Booker there for the rebound. From deep, it's good.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. You can't just let him dribble the game.
It's the first that gives them a 4-point cushion. So he gets them both, and it's a 5-point game. Great composure there. Calmly knocks them down to put this game out of reach. Timeout called, the Suns. They trail by 5. Any ideas on strategy being discussed right now in that huddle?
And I don't think they'll be able to climb out of this hole.
Well, I've been in this spot more times than I'd like to admit. All you can do is tell your guys to hold their heads up and finish strong. So the Trailblazers